How the Biden administration's climate plan could limit you to just eating one burger a month. It could cost you about $3,500 a year in taxes and force you to spend about 55 grand on an electric car. And the experts say that this plan could crush American jobs. Yeah, Joe Biden announced the goal is to cut emissions by 2030 compared to the 2005 levels and start a two-day climate summit. Started that yesterday, wraps up today, and he vowed the plan, which would set the U.S. on a path to zero emissions economy and by no later than 2050 would create jobs and boost the economy, he says. But he has yet to release any firm details on exactly how much that plan will affect our daily lives of ordinary Americans, and it could prompt some sweeping changes that could affect how Americans eat, drive, and even heat their homes. Let me explain. Part of the plan calls for cutting your red meat consumption by 90% and animal products by 50%. Americans would have to cut their red meat consumption by a whopping 90% to cut their consumption of other animal-based foods in half, gradually making those changes by 2030. And you could see a diet-related greenhouse gas emissions, they say, reduced by 50%, according to a study from Michigan University. Now, to do that, you as an American would only be able to consume about 4 pounds of red meat per year.
A year.
That's 0.18 ounces per day. It equates to consuming roughly, on average, an average-size burger per month.
I see. He wants to curtail what we eat. He wants to control what we eat. Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding. This is what they're talking about in this climate summit.
This is absolutely I'm trying to find the strongest word I can find, and it's profanity. So I'm just going to have to go with insanity.
Yeah, it's very oppressive, telling people what they can and what they can't eat. It's pretty oppressive. But a lot of people listening say, no, you should be doing that anyway. Well, yeah, okay, I get that. We should cut down on the red meat we eat. We should eat better. We should have a healthier diet. But I don't want the government telling me what to eat.
Come on.
Now, Joe Biden is telling the world that the United States will drastically cut the use of oil, natural gas, and coal by 2030. Mark Morano is author of The Green Fraud, and he was on Fox just a few minutes ago. And he says these cuts will lower the standard of living for America.
It's all going to mean literally all pain for zero gain to the climate. There's no criteria by which they say, okay, we've now done this. We're going to expect less bad hurricanes, less tornadoes. That's not even on the table. In fact, in 2015, John Kerry and many of the same people with the Biden administration declared victory, said this was, an unparalleled moment. We've solved the climate crisis. This never ends. This is the starting point for literally a remaking of American society for absolutely no benefit. And what I mean by that is it's going to be more reliance on Chinese energy, Chinese mining. We're going to offshore our emissions, and all we're going to do is impoverish Americans. And that's really what the climate agenda is about. It's not going to change the climate. At the end of this, we're not going to have a better climate. There's no criteria to measure that. There's just going to be more climate measures and mandates coming down the line. Yeah, China could not be happier with what's happening right now. China's building about, on average, one a week. There was a report out that China's building more coal plants than any countries combined. I mean, this is like the biggest coal plant running that China has ever done, coal production. At the same time, in the United States, 80+% of our energy comes from fossil fuels. Less than 4% come from solar and wind combined. So somehow the solar and wind combined at less than 4% is going to expand radically in some magical formula in the next decade in Joe Biden's plan.
Yeah, China's got this administration by the short hairs. Now, when it comes to electric vehicles, making the big switch to electric cars, more than half of the new cars brought to the United States would need to be electric within the next decade. The University of Maryland's School of Public Policy estimated that cleaning up the transportation system would count towards about a quarter of Biden's goal. It would mean more than 65% of the new cars and SUV sales would be, and 10% of the new truck sales would need to be electric. Currently, electric cars make up about 2% of new passenger vehicles. The average cost of an electric vehicle is right now $55,000.
Yeah, come on.
So there you go.
It's not essentially it's not touchable for most Americans.
Yeah, I don't mind driving an electric vehicle. I'm not against that at all. But the prices need to come down, and they need to get cool.
They need to get cool. Right now, a lot of electric vehicles look absolutely ridiculous.
The Tesla looks all right, that Model X.
Listen, I'm
cool.
all over Tesla,
yeah.
But man, I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on this. Only 4 pounds of beef a year.
Yeah, one of your clients, Wendy Bar Beef, would go bankrupt.
Well, I'm just thinking of
Ruth Chris shut down.
Oh, the massive effects from. Well, first of all, how do you enforce something like that? How do you enact something like that?
You put incredible taxes on the cattle industry.
You just
put
make it-
incredible taxes on restaurants.
Basically, make it inaccessible.
Yeah, I mean, a ribeye would cost $150 in a
Right.
restaurant.
Yeah.
And so, therefore, nobody would go there,
Uh-huh.
and the restaurant would shut down.
This is
I just have a
absolute-
fundamental problem of the government telling me I can't eat a steak.
Oh, that's
And I don't mind. My doctor tells me that, but I don't need the government telling
this
me that.
sounds like something out of some futuristic Charlton Heston movie from just just the world has gone to pot, and we've had mass nuclear war, and we're only limited to 4 pounds of beef a year.
Yeah, the bigger issue is how a lot of Americans just take this and go, oh, okay, yeah, we'll cut back.
Oh yeah,
They
he's
just
my man.
They just take
We
it.
should do that anyway.
So, also part of this plan, retrofitting or refitting your home with electric heat pumps. Nearly 25% of the homes would need to be heated by electricity rather than natural gas or oil to help Biden's emissions by 2030.
Oh God.
Yeah, the average cost to install an electric heat pump, which all-in-one heating and cooling unit, is about $5,600 according to Home Advisor. That's an average across the country. But there you go. Also, taxpayers would have to fork out trillions of dollars. Industry leaders say Biden's climate plan, while there are no cost specifics yet, could end up costing Americans trillions of dollars. Now, David Williams is president of the Taxpayers Protection Alliance. He told the Daily Mail that Joe Biden's plan is just a multi-trillion-dollar corporate welfare giveaway. Strict climate mandates targets will disproportionately hurt lower and middle-income citizens who will be forced to pay higher electric bills. And Bjorn Lomberg, visiting fellow at Stanford University, told the OC Register that the plan will likely cost taxpayers about $3,500 a year. And the cost will increase significantly after that. Here's a quote. He says, while more than 2/3 of the U.S. population finds that the climate crisis is a major problem, less than half are willing to spend even $24 a year to fight it, according to a 2019 survey by the Washington Post and the Kaiser Foundation.
I don't know. This all sounds really good for Republicans as far as 2024.
Yeah,
Let
kind of.
Let me tell you.
Sure.
Because this is pure insanity.
Yeah.
There's no other way to say it.
Yeah,
It's just insanity.
Yeah.
And